Angara.
Maraming salamat. Very nice. Muchas gracias. Uh, Let me, first of all, greet our distinguished envoy from Mexico, one of the most illustrious ambassadors Mexico ever sent to the Philippines. Has been a ranking United Nations official for some time, and deputy minister of foreign affairs. Very qualified, highly qualified representative of a very close friend of a nation. Hansi, the savior of this project, let you know later on why he's the savior. Emmy, my good friend Emmy, our representative from Pasay, and colleague from the DFA, Miss Austria, Gaspar. Uh, Without Mr. Gaspar, I don't think Ricky Rason's empire will ever be as stellar as it is. So modest. And my friends and colleagues, you know, 2002, 2001, I went to Spain and sentimental journey because Baler, my hometown, was the last stand of the Spanish Empire in the whole world. For almost 1 year, the Spanish garrison in Baler hid inside the church, and for 1 year they were fighting the Katipuneros, not knowing that Spain already sold us to US, and not knowing that the war is over. So as a sentimental, well, journey, I've been to Spain several times, but this time, with just one purpose. I wanted to find out the hometowns of the survivors of that siege, 33 Spaniards. And I got the Philippine Embassy to help me trace all those 33 hometowns. And if you put them on the Spanish map, Mr. Ambassador, you will have covered the entire Spain. And so I said to myself, I'm going to visit all 33 hometowns. And I've done 17 of them. So I still have 16 to go. Very good excuse. That's why every year I go back to Spain. But when I started reading about our Hispanic past, I read that in 300 years under Spain, 250 of that, a century and a half, were really Mexico. So the galleon trade, because of the galleon trade, the galleon trade was, or the galleon was the premier carrier of commerce and trade for 2.5 centuries, from 1565 to 1815. And throughout that period, we have been dealing with Mexicans or Spaniards based in Mexico. Legazpi came from Mexico. He was governor of Mexico for about 25 years or 15 years. So, and so is Salcedo, his nephew, who went around over Tigan and Pari and even Baler. So I said, my God, how come we don't know this part of our history? How come we don't even, except that the galleon trade was Manila and Acapulco. So this trade was so important because not only did it bring commodities, crops, both ways. From the Philippines, we gave them coconut, rice, mango, and lambanog. We taught them how to make lambanog. And from them, we got a lot of crops that are so commonplace with us now. The bahay, ano yung bahay kubusong? where they mention all the vegetables, most of them come from Mexico and from Latin America. Uh, Potato, kamote, corn. So many of the familiar things, papaya, pineapple, chocolate, cafe, all of them came from Mexico. And so there was that terrific exchange of crops. But more than crops, more than commodities, this galleon trade brought in an exchange of culture, of ideas, and tradition. Yung sa Quiapo, the Black Nazarene, that's the Mexican tradition that we copied here. And so many others. So as a result of that exchange, this almost the culture and flora and fauna of 4 continents were got into interaction. And so there's a Filipino in every Mexican, or at least in Guerrero. Almost, historians said 20% of the bloodline in Guerrero, where Acapulco is, comes from Filipinos. So there was a DNA exchange as well. Nutrition. Corn and potato, kamote, enriched the nutrition of Filipinos. And if you read back from Chinese history, Fujian suffered a famine, and they had to get corn and kamote from the Philippines, and we gave it to them, and that saved many people in Fujian from starvation. So there is a food exchange, there is a nutrition exchange. Many of the people here in this country, without us knowing, are of half Mexican descent. Although you look like a Mexican. Because when they travel from Manila to Acapulco and back, going to Acapulco, the Filipinos, as usual, jump ship and stay on. And since we can't distinguish a Filipino from a Mexican or Indian, they melt very quickly into their society. We were the first OFW that went to North and South America, as far as Louisiana, as far as California. Coming to Manila, the Mexican crew also jumped ship, but not to the extent as the Filipinos. Filipinos talagang magdis tumakbo yan eh. So, we have communities here in Manila, in Pampanga, in Zamboanga, in Cavite, all speaking Chabacano, and many of the prominent families of this country have Mexican roots. So that's how deeply embedded our two cultures are. And yet we don't read that from our history book. So I thought, yes, I'm going to do something about it so that our Hispanic past will be complete and young generations can read about them. And that's how I organized this group from Mexico, together with Ambassador Calvillo and the Filipino side, and form this concept. And we partly gave up on this project because our government was distracted by so many things until Hans came in like a white knight and saved this project. This project, the museum, the Galeon Museum, will be not only an emblem of a glorious past, a past that has brought prosperity, material and cultural, to many peoples of those continents that touch it. But this also a portent of I hope, the bright future of the Philippines and Mexico. In 15 years' time, 2030, Mexico will become the 10th largest economy in the world. Am I right, Basa? And in 15 years' time, the Philippines will have 1 trillion US dollar economy. And together, we can revive and reignite that old partnership of the Galeon. Right now, it's Obama who's trying to revive that free trade through his Trans-Pacific. But I think we can start it because there is affinity, there's cultural affinity, there is mutual benefit, and therefore this Galeon Museum will be a magnificent sentinel coming from Manila Bay. You will see Galeon Museum, to me, will become the most iconic structure in the whole country, thanks to the family of Hans. Maraming pong salamat.